Looks like blood.
Do you have a better idea?
Maybe.
Welcome to the Movie Summary channel. If you like the featured video, please watch it in the theaters near you, or buy or rent the original movie from the links provided in the description. Like and share the video as it will help us out, and comment on what movies you like to be featured next. Movie Summary does not condone piracy and follows and complies with the fair use law. Now, let's watch the featured video. Simply sit tight, relax, and enjoy the video. Be aware that there is heavy spoilers ahead.
You swore. It's becoming a habit.
I'll survive. I will survive. Hey, hey.
Part 2, year 1978. C. Berman watches the news reports of the recent slayings in Shadowside, with the news still suspecting Kate and Simon as the prime culprits. She hears a noise from the kitchen and finds Dina climbing in through the window. Berman nearly attacks Dina until she explains that she is the girl that Berman called earlier. Dina brings Berman outside with Josh to show them that they have Sam tied up in the trunk of their car since she is still possessed. Although Berman initially refuses to help, Dina pleads with her until she relents. Berman brings them back into the house to tell them the story about how she survived her own encounter with Seraphir. 1978. Young Ziggy Berman is running through the woods of Camp Nightwing when she is attacked by a Sunnyvale camper named Sheila and her cohorts because Ziggy stole some money from their cabin, and they taunt her by saying she is possessed by Seraphir. Counselors Willgood and Kurt come to break things up as Sheila starts to burn Ziggy's arm with a lighter. Knowing that Ziggy already has a history of causing problems, Will orders her to go call her mom to pick her up. But first, she goes to the nurse to tend to her wound. Meanwhile, Ziggy's older sister Cindy is working as a counselor there with her boyfriend Tommy Slater, having to deal with her former friend Alice and her boyfriend Artie doing drugs and having sex. Cindy and Alice were friends until Cindy ratted out Alice for a crime they committed when they were younger. Ziggy goes to the office of Nurse Mary Lane, mother of previous Shadowside killer Ruby. She is haunted by the fact that her daughter killed her friends and then herself. Mary insinuates that some of the murders were justified as she wraps the bandage around Ziggy's arm too tightly. Afterward, Ziggy meets up with Cindy, and they argue as Cindy talks about wanting to leave Shadowside, but Ziggy says nobody gets out of there. More bickering ensues, and Cindy calls Ziggy a monster. Cindy is scrubbing moss off the floors in an outhouse with Tommy when they are found by Mary. She tries to attack Tommy, but he is able to push her off of him and knock her out. Tommy is also injured in the back of the head. Mary is taken to the hospital, with people assuming she is just as crazy as her daughter was. At the scene is young Nick Good, whose father was sheriff before his death, and everyone in town knows Nick is heir apparent to succeed him. The campers and counselors are preparing for a color war that night. Ziggy is preparing for a revenge prank against Sheila after finding that she and her friends wrote nasty things about her in her room. Cindy joins Tommy, Alice, and Artie as they go into Mary's office to get what they think are hard drugs, but is really just Tylenol. All the while, Tommy starts to feel unwell. Alice finds Mary's diary, which contains a map of the area, as well as the legend of the witch, which states that if Sarah's hand is reunited with her body, the curse will come to an end. The map leads them to Sarah's old home, going underground to the caverns where the names of previous killers under Sarah's influence are carved into stone. Cindy and Alice then find Tommy's name on there. Artie approaches Tommy, thinking he is just really high, but Tommy grabs an axe off the wall and splits Artie's face open in front of the girls. The two run and make it far enough to cause rocks to collapse and seemingly trap Tommy. but he manages to make his escape while Cindy and Alice are still trapped down there. Nick helps Ziggy prank Sheila by filling a bucket full of creepy bugs, luring her to the outhouse under the impression that Will was asking her to join her. They pull the bucket and dump the bugs on her before trapping her in the outhouse. Not far away, a shadowside camper named Jeremy is brutally murdered by Tommy. Ziggy and Nick start to kiss until they hear screams from campers who discover Jeremy's remains. The counselors gather all the remaining campers in the outhouse. Tommy also goes after Kurt's girlfriend, Joan, hacking her to death after she has sex with Kurt, and then he proceeds to go after more innocent campers left alone. Cindy and Alice continue to try and make their way out of the caverns. They come across what looks like a gigantic rotting beating organ. Alice touches it and sees visions of all of Sarah's previous killers, even seeing a vision of a dead Cindy and other victims of the murders. Alice gets injured when she falls over, and a bone pops out of her leg. Cindy tends to her wounds, and the girls admit things to each other. Cindy admits to having snitched on Alice to save her skin, while Alice tells Cindy that she had slashed her wrists to cope with her dismal home life. Ziggy remembers Sheila is in the outhouse and goes to find her along with another counselor named Gary. Sheila attacks Ziggy, but then has her lights knocked out by Ziggy. Cindy and Alice manage to find out that there is an exit above them when Cindy finds the same moss from the outhouse. They call out for help, and Ziggy finds them. As she and Gary try pulling Alice out first, Tommy comes and decapitates Gary, causing them to drop Alice while Ziggy makes a run for it. She is found by Nick, who tries to get her to safety until Tommy comes and attacks. He slashes at Nick's leg while Ziggy runs and sees that she has missed the bus taking the other campers and counselors to safety. Cindy and Alice manage to find a way around that lead them to the mess hall. Ziggy is there while Tommy goes after her, attacking her before she wraps the burlap sack around his head that he later wears as a ghost. Cindy manages to break free from the cellar and stabs Tommy repeatedly until he is dead, saving her sister. The girls reconcile and reaffirm their love for one another. Alice emerges with Sarah's skeletal hand, and they plan to bring the hand back to her body until Ziggy gets a nosebleed and drips on the hand. This causes her to see a vision of Sarah, as well as to reanimate Tommy's corpse back to life. Just before the girls head out, Tommy slashes Alice's throat, killing her. Cindy beheads him with a shovel as the two sisters run. Ziggy and Cindy make it to the hanging tree where Sarah died, but they are soon faced by Tommy, Ruby Lane, the milkman Harry Rooker, and masked child killer Billy Barker. Just as the girls try to put the hand on the ground, the killers get closer. Cindy orders Ziggy to make a run for it while she fights off Tommy. Unfortunately, Tommy gets the upper hand and begins hacking Cindy to death, while the milkman stabs Ziggy in the gut repeatedly. The killers vanish, and the sisters die side by side. Nick shows up and manages to revive Ziggy with CPR, but Cindy is gone. In the present, Berman reveals that she was Ziggy, as her real name is Christine. Although she told Nick that the curse was real, he couldn't back up her claims due to fears that it would compromise his future as sheriff, so he just tells authorities that Tommy went crazy. Christine still insists that there is no way to defeat Sarah, but Tina and Josh ask her if Sarah's hand is still under the hanging tree. It is, as the Shadowside Mall is now where Camp Nightwing used to be. While the two are doing this, Christine attempts to contact Nick. Dina then takes the hand to Sarah's grave in the woods, but as she does so, she finds herself back in 1666, where she is now Sarah.
Looks like blood.
Do you have a better idea?
Maybe.
Thank you for watching our featured video here in Movie Summary. I hope you have enjoyed watching our videos. Please like and share this video on your social media and subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Comment down below on what movies you like to be featured next, and click the notification bell so that you will be notified every time we post new videos. Bye for now, and see you in the next upload of our next videos.
We can end this. You swore. It's becoming a habit.
I'll survive.